Okay, so thanks for coming to webinar of Java programming from javapassion.com. So today's topic is NetBeans GUI Builder, and NetBeans GUI Builder is introduced from NetBeans 5 and after, and it is codenamed as Matisse, famous painter. So let's talk about what is GUI Builder is all about first, and then we're going to get into hands-on lab. If you think about the way that we built traditional GUI applications using Java, basically we use Swing APIs and layout managers. We could use JavaFX, but typically people have been using Swing APIs, which is very complex. It's very sophisticated and powerful, but it is very complex, meaning the learning curve on Swing API is pretty steep. Another problem that you might experience is resizing and alignments are pretty hard thing to do, especially if you try to resize a group of components as a group. That's hard, and alignment among UI components again is pretty difficult thing to do. At least it's very labor intensive, and the handling of locale is also something that you have to deal with. Another problem is look and feel of a particular OS is something that you have to be concerned about as well. So NetBeans GUI Builder solves these problems and more. So you can easily build professional looking GUI applications using GUI Builder, NetBeans GUI Builder, without deep knowledge of Swing and Layout Manager. Basically, GUI Builder will generate Swing code for you, and it handles resizing and alignment, and localization is also handled for you, and the GUIs are created and run with the look and feel of underlying OS, meaning whatever application you built using GUI Builder, when it is running on the top of a particular OS, it will detect that OS and will be and should be able to should actually give a look and feel of that particular underlying OS. So this is a runtime behavior. So slide 4 and 5, a list of GUI Builder features. So again, it lets you build professional looking GUIs with simple and intuitive layout, again without the knowledge of Swing and layout managers. It comes with extensive set of components. Most of those components are Swing components, and then you can drag and drop those components into your palette, and then GUI Builder actually generate the code for you. And it does give you visual guidelines for spacing, optimal spacing between components, and alignment of components. These are the things that you are going to experience. Basically, you can select a set of components and you can say these are the components I want to right aligned or left aligned and things like that. And it does support both visual and non-visual forms. You can also use Component Inspector to see components tree. Typically, a GUI page is a tree structure of UI components, and you can actually see this component tree. And of course, for each of these components, you can see their properties. It does let you have in-place editing of text labels of components like buttons and text fields and things like that. And again, these are the things that we are going to experiment when we do hands-on lab. And full JavaBeans support, so you can install and use and customize those JavaBeans, and those JavaBeans could be visual components or it could be non-visual components. And as I said before, it does support internationalization and localization as well as accessibility. So how does it work? Basically, it uses what is called Group Layout Manager. Before JDK 6, JDK 1.6, Java SE 6, this Group Layout Manager is a separate package. now it's part of the JDK. So it's using group layout manager underneath. And it does provide pretty similar interface builder on Mac, and similar features on Mac like interface builder or Visual Studio on Windows platform. However, the difference of GUI Builder between GUI Builder and these technologies are these are Java based. I mean, GUI Builder is Java based, meaning GUI Builder should work on any platform that supports Java. Okay, so that is a short presentation. So let's take a look at the hands-on lab. So we have a two hands-on lab, and exercise one, we have one single hands-on lab, but two exercises. So exercise one, we are going to build what is called the context editor GUI applications. Okay, so it is in fact a sample application that comes with NetBeans. So you can see how it works first of all. So you can say File, New Project, and expand samples, and select Java, and GUI form applications. So it comes with the three GUI applications, GUI forms in this application. So let's just create this one and see the end result of what we are trying to create. So let's try to run this guy. The one that we are trying to build is this guy, context editor. So select context editor and OK. So this is the context editor that we are trying to build. It is a frame, and then we have two JPanels. And in exercise one, we are going to build just this first JPanel. It has a border, titled border with a name, and the titled border color is, let's say, blue. And it has the two labels aligned to the right, and again two labels here aligned to the right, and then we have text field. Okay, and then we have another label, and we have a drop down checkbox, a drop down menu like this. Okay, so we are going to build just this one. Now you can see another GUI feature we see is that the size of the text fields are all the same, right? This field, this field, this field, and this field, they are all same. And the resizing also works. Okay, so when you do resizing, this GUI form, everything, especially this text field, are resizing themselves correctly. And you can see it has a nice looking spacing around it. Okay, so this is what we are trying to build. Okay, so I'm going to just close this guy. Alright, so new project and select Java. You can create desktop application or Java application. If you create desktop application, it will create JFrame for you, so you don't have to create a JFrame yourself. So that's the way it is documented in the hands-on lab. But you can also create a Java application and then create JFrame yourself. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to just say context editor and finish. So here I'm going to create a JFrame. I'm going to just name it as a new frame, new JFrame, that's fine. So now you can see this palette. So we need to create two JPanels. Okay, so here we are going to create the first panel. Now you can see GUI Builder is giving you the guideline, right? Okay, so that dotted lines are guidelines. Now you can drop the panel. Now I'm going to expand this guy to the right. Again, it's giving me a guideline. Okay. Now I want to actually make this JPanel and with the titled border. So here I go to the properties of this panel, JPanel, and select border. So here I'm going to click this guy, and you can have a different kinds of border. Here we are going to use titled border. So we are going to select it. The name of the title is name, or whatever name you want. In terms of color, I want some green, and I want the font of the title, so maybe I want to have it bold and the size 14, like this, and OK. So now I have a titled border. Okay. Next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to have the first name, last name, and text fields of those two. Okay, so we are going to have label. Again, if you drag and drop the label, it's giving me the guideline. So that is going to be first name. Now I'm going to have a text field here, and I'm going to have another label, and then text field, and maybe I want to expand this guy to the right, and I'm going to change. I'm going to do in place changing of this label, so it's going to be first name. Now you can see things are moving to the right position, and this one is going to be last name. Okay, now we want to have the title and nickname just next to it, so we are going to have label here, and this time we are going to have two labels like this. Okay, and then I'm going to change it. Maybe this is a title, and this one is going to be nickname. Now I want to insert text field in the middle, so you can do things like this, and then we have another text field, expand it like this, and okay. So now let's see what we have done so far. So you can do preview. So you can click this preview button, preview design. Okay. So this is the end result. Now we have three problems here. The first problem is the alignment was not correct. So the first name and title should be right aligned. The same thing with the last name and nickname. That's the first problem. Second problem that we need to resolve is the size. For now, all these text fields are different sizes, right? So we want them to be equal sizes. The third problem that we need to resolve is resizing. For now, these two fields seems to be resizing correctly, but these two fields are not resizing correctly. So we need to handle resizing. Okay, so let's handle the first problem. So we need to do right alignment of these two label components. So select these two, and then you are going to select this right alignment. Okay, same thing with the last name and nickname. Okay, now whenever you make a change, you can actually see the source code. Okay, this is the generated code. That's the reason it's being hidden. So it actually creates all the right components, and it does everything for you. So it's adding all these things. So these are the swing code that gets generated by the GUI Builder. Okay. All right. So we solved the first problem. Now the second problem. So let's actually see how that works. Well, yeah, this is kind of obvious. So yeah. So for now, the right alignment is done, but the size is not correct, and resizing doesn't work. Okay. So, oops, sorry about that there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we need to solve the sizing problem. So we are going to have this guy as the same size, same with it. So now we got the same size. So if you do the preview, now we got the same size, but the resizing doesn't work even for these fields. So we are going to actually do resizing. So here we are going to do this guy, resizing. Okay. So now let's see whether we achieved what we wanted. Okay. So yeah, so resizing works. Okay, so we solved the alignment problem of these two label components, and we make all these guys to be the same text field size, and resizing works for all these fields. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to add another label here. Okay, so it's going to be display format like this. Now you can see things are being aligned accordingly, right, based on the size that I typed in. Okay, and we are going to have a combo box. Now I'm going to expand like this. Okay, now I want to actually have this JPanel to be this with the correct spacing. So this is probably the spacing I want. Okay, so if you preview, spacing is equal size on the top and bottom. Okay, so it's giving you the guidance in terms of what is the right spacing. Okay, all right, so that's exercise 1, and the documentation is very well detailed. So we have done this one, and you can see the source code. Now exercise 2 is adding event handlers to GUI components. Without the event handlers, it's not that much useful, right? If you click a button or something, you want something to be done. So here I'm going to actually use the documentation. The exercise is, the end result is when you run the application, this is basically computation application. So when you run the application, see, this is what we want to see. So you can add, you have a first number field, second number field, and then you can click add and result will be displayed. If you click clear, then these numbers will be cleared, and if you click exit, then this application will exit out. Okay, so pretty straightforward application. Okay, so we are going to create a NetBeans project. Okay, again, you can create the Java desktop application or a Java application and then create the JFrame yourself. In this hands-on lab, we assumed you create desktop application. Okay, so select Java desktop application, and once you got the new desktop application dialog box, you say name addition as the number addition as the name of the project, and we are going to add JPanel as we did in exercise 1. Again, we are going to make it as a titled border. So once you have done that, we have this, and then we are going to add 3 labels, 1, 2, 3, and 3 text fields like this, and you want to stretch out like that. And then you're going to add the 2 buttons. Okay, so you're going to just drag these 2 buttons, and you're going to just rename these things. So you're going to rename it as a first number, second number, and result. And you want to remove this JText field value. So you right click it, edit text, and then you just remove the text field string, JText field string. Okay, so now you have empty text field. Okay, now you can just change the name of the button, but you can also select edit text like this. So we are going to actually have it as add and clear, and same thing with the exit. Okay, so exit is a button outside of this JPanel. Okay, so 2.4, this is where event handler gets added to your GUI components, and you can certainly add this code yourself, right, manually, but GUI Builder actually provides a wizard. So what you do is, here I want to add an event handler in which is going to call system.exit0, okay, so that the application exit out. So you right click it and you are going to see events, and then it will give you things that you can do, the event type. Here we are going to select action, and then we are going to select action performed. Okay, now inside the action performed, so it will create this this method, JButton3 action performed. So all you have to do is just add this the method invocation of system.exit0, so that it will exit the application when exit button is clicked. Okay, so this is the code that you are going to add, this code. Okay, now we are going to add event handler for clear and add. So clear is basically we like to clear whatever value that has been on these fields. Okay, so again you select events, action, action performed. And here you are going to just call set text method of each text field with null string value. Okay, so just initializing those fields. Now we are going to add event handler for add. So again, doing the same thing. Select events, select action, and select action performed. And in this code, you are adding these 10 or so lines of code. It's basically, you are going to get the text value of the first field, and then you are going to make it a float object. So you call parse float static method of float class. So you got the number 1 float object. Same thing for the number 2. And then you are basically adding those two, and then that is saved in result float object. And then we create string object from that result. And then we are going to call set text method of the third text field. So this is a result field. Okay. So that's it. So now you can build and run the application. So when you run the application, you're going to see this. You can just type 4 and 5, and then if you click add, result is going to be 9.0. This is a float, right? Type. Okay. And then you can click clear button, then the fields are going to be cleared. And then when you click exit, your application will exit out. So that's it. So as you can see, NetBeans GUI Builder really provides a simple way of building professional looking GUI applications. We haven't actually explored the internationalization and accessibility kind of features, but those are kind of built in. Okay. Alright, so that's the end of today's presentation and hands-on lab. Any questions?